if we were to get a big washout in gold and silver, it will be a screaming buying opportunity, because the last time we had a setup like this was, pretty much end of 2008, and then gold just rocketed higher.
I don't know about you, but sometimes it's good to get away from the short-term price action in gold and silver. After all, we consider them long-term investments, so we should look at the long-term charts. And that's exactly what I'm doing this week with Chris Vermeulen of thetechnicaltraders.com. And he explains to me why he's so bullish on gold. I'm Dave Russell. This is GoldCore TV, helping you make sense of gold and silver markets so you can make better investment decisions.
When you look at the long-term charts, it's very bullish. I think we're going to see 2,600, 3,500, probably 2 to 3 years from now. Who knows where the market is going to when it's going to get that real traction and take off. I could pull my charts up and we can kind of go over the different angles, the different time frames of the chart. So let's actually step right back and let's go to the monthly long-term time frame, because it's kind of the best to look at the long-term cycles. And more or less, the last time we started what I call a major super cycle in commodities in the precious metal space was actually back during 2000, 2001, where gold put in a bottom. And then we saw that massive rally up into the 2012 kind of peak there. And what happened in 2019, we started what I think is the next major super cycle to the upside for commodities. We've got a very similar setup in terms of the valuation of commodities versus equities, stocks. Also, the US dollar index is back up, getting near the levels where it was back in 2001. All these things are coming together for this big cycle. Now, it doesn't mean things are just going to go up and to the right. We can still have some pretty big corrections within a gold and silver super cycle. And just to give you a little flavor of that type of potential drawdown, is if we go into a deeper correction in the stock market, have a big recession. During the 2008, we actually saw gold pull back about 34% during the bear market. And that's just because there's liquidation. People are forced to have margin calls. They get scared. They just literally exit everything that they own. And so I think we're coming into a similar scenario. We're about to go into another big bull market or a bear market phase, and we could see gold potentially pull back down to that 1,400 mark during, say, later this year, if we get a big stage 4 decline in the stock market, which is more or less a financial reset, similar to 2001 bear market, similar to 2008, a real kind of financial reset of prices of stocks, real estate.
Now, we're going to make sure that we're not giving our viewers heart palpitations, but they should be assured that this is very normal in long-term bull markets, particularly commodity markets, and in particular gold and silver markets. Would you agree with that?
For sure. And so we could see gold. I mean, in a perfect world, I would love to see gold and silver pull back. We see everything reset, because really a reset in the financial markets, it's short-lived. It's painful for those who kind of hold through those, but it creates amazing opportunities. If we were to get a big washout in gold and silver, it will be a screaming buying opportunity, because the last time we had a setup like this was, pretty much end of 2008, and then gold just rocketed higher into the perfect storm. And that's where I think we are right now, is we're just waiting for this final kind of shakeout in the market, and then we're going to see gold take off and rally in silver. So there's a lot of potential. What's interesting, and maybe you would know more about this, but if gold was to pull back to 1,400, I mean, it's a great opportunity to load up with physical metals, which is what I'm waiting for. But I mean, I wonder if we're even going to be able to buy them. I mean, hopefully, I would like to think there's going to be panic. People are giving up on gold and silver and selling it, so it'll create some liquidity for people to buy it. But it might actually create even more demand for the gold bugs to want to buy it, and we might not even be able to buy any. So
indeed,
it's so interesting. The whole
we're just looking at the spot price here. That what we don't look at when we look at the charts is how the premiums react at the same time. So we could see a significant pullback in the spot price of the metal, but not necessarily have that. You might see a blowout in premiums, depending on what's happening in the wider markets at those moments in time.
Yeah, it's tough, because when the markets never make it easy to make money, and the world is very, very efficient. And it's like, if there's an easy opportunity to make money, then usually there's some catch. So you can't do it. It's either illegal or for some, there's even ETFs to trade the VIX and stuff. And when there's a perfect opportunity to take advantage of a particular ETF, the exchanges ban shorting, or they ban a specific type of position you can put on it. And it would be, I feel as though it would be like similar for gold. Finally, like gold pulls back to 1400. It's like the last major pullback before it's, up. It's a rocket ship. But it'll be like, sure, the spot price of gold is low, but the premiums will be so high because everybody wants it that really we'd be paying the same price we are now, probably. Who knows how it's going to shake out. But anyways, that's my long-term view. Is I think we still need the stock market to have a correction. Gold and silver will be under pressure. Maybe it doesn't pull back that far. All I'm saying is be prepared for some type of pullback and washout low in gold. It's an opportunity when you look at the long-term picture. Now,
and that's just before you leave that chart, I mean, there is a very obvious line of resistance there. We've seen a triple top nearly, or wedge forming there. Fairly obvious. So in terms of breaking out around we're looking at what's that, the 1900 level. What are you seeing as significant resistance there that has to be taken out before you can say we're moving significantly higher from here?
Yeah, I think we need to, when you look at the futures price here, I think we'd have to break somewhere around this $2,085 area. I'd like to see the dollar also breaking down on a chart pattern. All those things will signify likely that we're, maybe this breakout is happening and it's going to have follow through. So those would be a pretty significant level. Hold above that, more or less, at least on a weekly basis. A daily pierce of it is a great way to get a false signal. We want a longer term chart to hold up there for a week or a month above it. If it can do that, then it should be off to the races for that time frame of a pattern. So that'll be really important. The dollar would have to be breaking down in a bigger way, like making some more lower lows, and gold will be breaking and closing above there. So that'll be kind of I think, a very strong signal if we get that, and then it could be off to the races from there.
And what about silver? Do you have as high hopes for silver? I hope you do, because people are feeling very frustrated by it at the moment.
Yeah, silver's in this really high volatile kind of stage. It's always been a lot more volatile than gold. I think, again, we're in this type of scenario. It's just noisy. It's messy. Silver is one that can make you pull your hair out if you're counting on it to do something. I think we need to let the whole cycle continue to mature, and then eventually we're going to get into one of these just huge blow off phases in silver, whenever that is. We just have to put in the time. Again, this is the monthly chart, so I still think late this year is when we see precious metals potentially put in that bottom and then start the next big rally to the upside. But it's just more volatile, similar type of price action in terms of we just need to let it sell off more, let the market work itself out. If we were to zoom in a little bit though and take a look, it does have some falling kind of trend line across here. We've got some highs across here. If it was to start to break up above through this falling trend line, break a previous high, that would be a bullish sign for silver, that maybe it's starting its next series of rallies to the upside. So silver, obviously it's got lots of potential, but it is in the same boat as gold. They're in the same ocean, meaning tide goes up and down. You got to wait for the tide to be going up to really commit for the next move. Right now, the tide is still, to me, kind of going down.
But you're unlikely to see a large breakout to the upside in silver if you're still expecting a decent correction in gold.
Correct.
Right. And there's a lot of commonality between those two circles that you put up there in terms of the patterns and the volatility. And you can just note, what's that, the kind of 2008, 2007, 2008, that correction, that low there, how much it appreciated in the following years. And that's nearly a five-fold increase from the lows. So significant potential in silver when it takes off.
Yeah, I think they've both got great potential. Commodities can lay dormant for like forever. It feels like 5 years, 7 years, a decade. And then when they come to life, there's incredible opportunity. You just have to, you got to grind through it. You got to wait. You got to be patient, go find other assets to kind of focus on during that time. And we're finally getting back to one of these stages. If anybody has ridden the precious metals bull market phase in gold, silver, or miners, they know exactly what I'm talking about. If we wait forever for these, and then when they happen, I mean, they're life-changing. They can be life-changing in terms of how much money you make, the growth and all that stuff. So that gets people in too early. They just need to be able to step back and wait for that to happen, because it is a wild ride in between these bull market phases, but we are getting close. I think we're within a year of a bottom, and then the next big phase happens for precious metals.
And from a fundamental point of view, what do you think is going to be the catalyst for a move higher?
Yeah, I'm not into the fundamentals. I mean, I think it's been a perfect storm for commodities and precious metals for a long time. I mean, we got inflation, everything. These things should be like skyrocketing already. Really, it still comes down to the whole supply and demand. We're waiting for the charts to go up. It doesn't matter what the fundamentals are doing, in my opinion, because it doesn't really change the price of gold. I mean, they should be all dramatically higher right now. So really, we just need to let the charts, the price action dictate when there's a new trend, when there's a breakout. When there is, that's when you get heavily involved and go from there. But I mean, I do think we're in the perfect storm in terms of commodities and precious metals. Is just, we need something to break, likely a correction in the market, wash it out. Probably be the dollar will start to collapse after that, a multi-year collapse in the dollar, just like from the 2001 peak. That's going to send commodities through the roof. Cryptos are kind of falling apart every month. It seems like there's a new exchange blowing up. People are getting tired of losing their tokens and losing their money. And things go from one extreme to the other. It's going to go from gold, went to digital currencies and NTFs, and I think it's going to naturally rotate back into nice shiny yellow bars and silver bars. People will want to go to something physical that it's hard to lose.